Hi, everyone. Welcome into Prime Time and Women Unscripted. I'm Barbara Marville-Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have three amazing, incredible, wonderful women today. Yes,
Wonderful,
we're missing one. We're missing one. Krisula, at the last minute, had an emergency, and we pray that everything is okay for her. But we have Helena Trangata and Sharon Kistler, back by popular demand. Girls, has it been too long or what? For one reason or another, for some reason, the last Monday of the month just got, I don't know, discombobulated. So here we are.
It's not the last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the last Monday.
What is it?
Next Monday is the last Monday, because I was when you let me know that
it is?
split.
Oh, no, wait a minute here. Now you got me all confused.
Well, we're here.
But we're good. But we're good.
Because
No.
Excuse me.
Today is the last Monday of the month.
Well, I was thinking July 4th was next week.
I was going to say, oh my gosh, I got Kelly coming in next week. We're going to
Whatever
do
happens is supposed to be.
Yes,
Exactly.
Wherever we are.
Some of us are a little more confused than others.
Oh, yeah, we each have our moments, right? How are you guys doing out there? I hope you've missed us. We like to bring a lot of fun, frivolity, unscriptedness, and all of that to the show, and hope that you have some takeaways. And today, the girls are actually going to share some of the things that they're doing in their life, because, you know, it's summertime, right? And we're all, you know, moving and grooving. Some of us are kind of stepping back in some things, taking a break, traveling, right? Rocking babies, that never slows down, right? So, yeah, so how have you been? You've been traveling. You, like, are the traveler.
I have. I've been doing family stuff, weddings in North Carolina and birthdays in Maryland, where I'm from originally. So I love getting together with family. And we have birthdays here in Florida.
I know. You have a big family.
I think we have a birthday, like at least a birthday party every month, at least. In our family.
Kidding. Yeah. No kidding.
Well, that way
all good
you
stuff.
never really need birthday cake, because you get it every month.
And you know
birthday cake is a need.
It is a need.
It is.
Cake is a need, and they're all good.
Well, you were showing me pictures before the show with your participation in the wedding and the gold Bible.
Yes, yes. Rachel and Sam, congratulations. And it was a beautiful cathedral in Raleigh, and I got to participate, and I got to read a reading, and take the gold Bible up to, to the altar. Yeah.
15-pound Bible, seriously?
It was very heavy. I don't know how they do it, but it was a special Bible, too, from Easter.
Wow.
So they carried it over and said they were going to use this one. And it really was a privilege. It was an honor to participate.
Is it given to the couple then, after the wedding?
No. This is the regular church Bible, the cathedral Bible.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really cool. They had statues of all the saints that were in the perimeters by the windows, and it was awesome. Mother Teresa and Saint Francis of Assisi and Saint Martin de Porres. And I had traveled to Lima, Peru, and also to Italy, and went to Assisi. So this was all, really special for me.
Oh, I can tell.
They also had a statue of Elizabeth Ann Seton, who is a new canonized saint in the Catholic Church, and I went to Elizabeth Seton High School.
How cool!
So it had a lot of special meaning for me. Yes, it was really.
Did you bless everyone?
I did. I came back feeling very filled with the Spirit, but it is true. It is true. When you visit places like that, you can feel kind of that sacred energy. You really do, whether it's here, or abroad or someplace.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you about that, because I remember when you were going. I mean, this one, you're almost like Maura. Maura, if you're out there, we miss you too. Maura's the other traveler. You and I are the only ones that have our boots on the ground here, girlfriend.
That's okay.
Right
now.
But we're busy. We are busy. I know you're rocking babies every Wednesday morning, right? And you're always excited to be able to give back to All Children's Hospital, whether it be donations or what some of the products that you're doing. How long have you been rocking babies?
3 years.
3
3 years in April.
Awesome.
3 years in April.
Yeah.
Yes.
What made you start doing that?
That is.
I had actually applied to do this when we lived in Philadelphia at Philadelphia All Children's Hospital. And about the time I got approved, because they do a background check, I mean, there's several things that they do. About the time I got approved, we realized we were moving back. So there wasn't any point of, starting there at that point. And when I came down here, there wasn't a NICU close, and then I went back to work. So I knew that was on my bucket list to still do that, even though I had taken some time to get there. So when they opened Medical Center of Trinity, they had a level 2 NICU. It's the only one in Pasco County. And I was like first going, pick me, pick me.
When she said, I'm going to be
didn't know
rocking
that.
babies, I'm going, you're what?
Is that true that it's the only, wow.
I did not know that.
It's
the
so
only
needed.
NICU in Pasco County.
God bless you for doing
I
that
know.
work.
So
I
we
know
get
those
babies from all
feel it.
over, especially the more northern regions, because I don't know where the next one is actually, but like Spring Hill doesn't have a NICU. So I think it must be going up past Ocala
Yeah.
before there's another NICU.
So tell our viewers
Awesome.
why you're rocking these babies, please. I know it's one of those things you'll understand why.
I just have a love for babies, number one, and the babies need the love in the very beginning of their life because of the for any number of reasons. I mean, obviously there are babies there that have parents that are loving on them, and then there are babies who do not have parents, whose parents either didn't want them, or babies that are going to be adopted and the adoptive parents haven't come yet, babies that are going into foster homes. Some babies stay a few days, some babies stay a much longer time. Some of them are very needy because of the drugs that their mommies took. And those babies usually require the most rocking.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are babies who have given up. And that's the saddest. The ones that lie there and they don't cry because somehow they know that there's no need to cry. They won't have their needs met. And in this time, 3 years, I've seen 2 of those babies. And one of my NICU nurses, of course, we don't hold any baby without permission of the nurse, and she said to me, she said, is that baby awake? Because she was busy with another baby, and I said yes. And the baby was just as cute as it could be. It was a dark-headed baby, and it was wrapped up like a little papoose, in a white blanket. And I said, yeah, she's just looking at me. And I saw it in her eyes. I saw that she didn't think that she would get any loving.
Yeah.
And the nurse said to me, she goes, well, no one else needs you right now. Why don't you just pick her up? She needs some loving. And I said, gladly. And, so she did get some loving that day. And hopefully we'll change her mind and she'll know that she deserves.
Absolutely.
She deserves to be loved, but somehow in her short little time on Earth, or possibly before she came to Earth, and I had a little boy one time too, the same thing. They just didn't believe that they deserved to be loved.
Wow, how they can sense that at such an infant age, but they sense everything even still in the womb. So it's
And
understandable.
both babies were not wanted by mom, so you don't know what they went through
I
during
know.
their time that they were in vitro, but it's the saddest of all. I mean, it's even sadder. Those babies are even sadder to me than the baby who's crying because they're addicted and they're in withdrawal, because these babies aren't reaching out for anything.
Yeah,
They're just
or responding.
in some ways they've given up, and who's to know how their life's going to go.
Just breaks your heart.
You wish that you could know how their life is going to go, but I can't go there. I have to just be
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
I just have to love them and bless them and
And
sing to them.
that's the purpose, and you're both getting benefits from that.
I definitely get benefits.
Yeah,
They touch my heart. That's why I do what I do.
Exactly.
Most people say, well, why aren't you retired? Why don't you take it easy? But it's like, that's what I do because I can make a little money to give back to all children's.
And that's what
obviously
it-
volunteering is free. I don't have to pay to volunteer, but
Right,
But
right.
I do try to raise money for All Children's Hospital. I'm the president of the North Region Guild, and I'm always trying to raise money and awareness in our community because a lot of people, my age particularly, they put their heads in the sand. They don't want to know about these babies that are hurting.
But you must feel so much better that you're being more proactive and being aware of what's
Yeah.
going on to be able to to give your time and for the purpose.
It's a blessing for me.
It is, and it's a blessing for those babies. It's a blessing for the community. Are these babies in this particular hospital just from the West Pasco area?
Pretty much.
Do they
Yeah,
come
yeah.
from outside, or?
Well, no, they probably do come from the more northern counties as well, because there isn't a NICU in Hernando or Citrus that I know of. You know, I'm not speaking from notes here. I'm not
Yeah.
a spokesman for the hospital, so don't hold me to those facts. But
No,
as far
we're
as I
unscripted
know-
here today.
As far as I know,
Yeah.
you know, we get babies from those areas often.
But that's
And
amazing.
then if
Amazing work.
if the baby requires more care, then we send it to a hospital that is a higher level than we are. So those would be like the HCA hospital in Brandon is a level 3 NICU, and All Children's is a level 3 NICU. So sometimes
I remember. I'm sorry. Go
sometimes
ahead.
they go down there, and then when they do some testing, and then when they're ready, they might still need to be hospitalized. They'll come back to us for a short time before they actually go
And
home.
I find it an interesting, let's say, conversation of how the mothers are not in tune with how much love, care, nurturing, warmth that their baby's going to need. You know, I mean, I can understand the drug culture and the disconnect, but that just shows you the level of, you know, it's very sad, and that these babies have those needs. So I thank you for sharing your heart. I mean, honestly, Helena, and all those that are out there that do, because that's very giving, you know,
Yeah.
very giving work to do, or sharing, but it's so necessary to give, like you said, those babies that kind of start in life, you know, that they have that connection.
You know, and there's no guarantee to me that this is really going to help them.
Yeah.
But, you know, you feel like,
Well,
I mean,
it's-
if I'm you know, let's say I hold them for an hour or two.
Yeah.
You know, if they can get an hour or two of love, I hope and pray that will give them just a little bit better start in their life. You know, there's no way
Yeah.
that we can know that and prejudge and
Well, they need it.
decide, because, you know, it's a tough world today.
It
for,
is.
for all kids, I guess.
It
but
is.
particularly for kids that are born with challenges.
Exactly. Do you ever get the second baby? I mean, a baby the second time? I said that in backwards.
Yeah, we just had that happen recently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the funny thing was they brought in the older sibling, was out in the hallway because the baby is too young to actually come into the NICU, and the baby knew me.
That was my next
Oh,
question.
I had rocked him,
Yes.
and the big brother, he remembered me. And I could see it in his face. You know, he remembered me because I had held him more than once. And so, that
So
was
you
like,
know it's working. You know it's
Absolutely.
working. Oh, that I just love to hear. When you started this, and when we talk like after, she'd bring me to tears, really.
I know.
The stories and the
know.
behind the scenes that I know, you know, we can't share or talk about. But
And of course, because of HIPAA, I never share any names.
Right.
I never share
Absolutely.
Right.
anything
Yes.
that would be of detriment to that baby or that family.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just want Medical Center of Trinity to know that.
Well,
That's
you know, and that brings me to what we're going to be talking about today. With your nail things, you know, we've all done the acrylic nails and the this and the that, and when you said that they have some new rules that you had to take your acrylic
yeah.
nails off, but I think to quite the benefit, because these nails that you're doing now, I want you to tell us about them, because I think they're phenomenal. Because you might not end up like me today.
You see my short little
with
nails. You
one
can notice how
short-
beautiful their nails look. These short little nails are
And they-
my babies.
your baby nails.
So March 1st, we had a new policy that we could not wear nail polish or fake nails. Nothing. We have to have bare nails. Actually, we have to be bare armed up to our elbows when we're in the unit. And I was like, oh my goodness. I just didn't know if I could give them up. I had had them on for, I don't know, over 20 years, and spent an appointment every 3 weeks getting my nails done. And I was quite happy with them the way they were. And I actually told them I was going to quit. And someone said to me, well, why don't you try these Color Street nails? So the Color Street nails are actual fingernail polish that you actually take out of the package. You tear it off, the little cover off, you put it over your fingernail, you press it down, and it stays.
That's it.
And so every I usually rock babies on Wednesday. Tuesday night, I take my nail polish off. I go bare nail to rock my babies. I go home Wednesday afternoon. I put a new set of nails on.
That's awesome.
And that has allowed me to stay rocking the babies. So
I love this.
I found this for this reason. So
Look at these. These are so
so
fun.
this
Are
is
very
Color
cool.
Street nail strips. There's 16 in here. So I actually, because I have short nails, I'm actually able to do my toes and my fingers.
Oh, how fun.
And so inside of that comes a little alcohol pad and a little nail file comes in the package. And they're literally probably, 6 dozen colors or whatever online. So you can see them all on my website, which I think John's going to put up. And then I also have what we call twosies. So this will do 2 fingers, or for me, 4 fingers. Because I have little short fingernails.
That is
and
so
then
cool.
I can either put them on for you, or I can let you put them on, and it gives the directions on the back. So
Let me see that.
These are just so fun. And you know what?
And
That's awesome.
They're affordable, too. What now?
they start at $11 for solids, and they go up to $14 for French.
And how long will they last?
10 to 14 days.
10 to 14
and I've had
days.
mine on. I have watermelons
That's
on tonight. I
fantastic.
don't know that you can see
Those
them.
are adorable.
But they're cute little watermelons. So we have seasonal
Look
ones
how-
as
let me
well.
see that.
We have
Look.
football for football season.
That is adorable.
These are actually part of our patriotic
Here.
look. And there you go. John's got it up there. So
Very
many different
nice.
colors. And,
Very
and
nice.
so all of that's available. And you buy 3, you get 1 free. So not only are they affordable,
Yes.
you actually get a bargain. And if you do have children and you're another girlfriend, sometimes you can actually sit down and do it together. It's fun to
I
do it
think
all.
this- I think
And they
these are
might do,
fabulous.
one set might do both of your nails.
I think they're fabulous. It's time for us to transition here in just a few
That is
seconds.
awesome.
But honestly, if you're like me today, do you notice one of those sticking out? Yes, I broke a nail and my gal did not come in today. So I came. And you're going to fix this after the show. So I'll at least have, so I'm not ready to get my nails done. But if you want to save time, you want to save money, and you want quality, this is really the way to do it. And if you want to get something like this as a gift, why not? If you have young teenagers, right? You don't want them to get into the costly
I have
acrylics and all
a
of
lot
that.
of moms who do them as birthday
Yeah.
with their kids for birthday parties.
I
They're
can
great
see
little
that.
fun. The girls they can have, because they like having all the nails different. So they'll take the sets and just pass them all around. They'll have stars on one finger and a pineapple on the other one.
I love that. I think that's fun. That's
That
really
is
fun.
fun.
You did a great job with yours. When I saw those the first time, when you told me that you couldn't do your acrylics anymore, I thought, okay, well, I know they've got a lot of technology, but I was blown away. I was really blown away. They just look absolutely fabulous and real.
And they would
They
look,
do.
it would impress you even more if you saw my poor little unhealthy nails under there because of having those fake nails on. And probably it's a gift that I'm allowing my nails to actually grow out and have the natural, because I have lots of allergies. I figure having those fake nails is probably a benefit for me, but I don't know if I would have done it without my babies pushing me.
Oh, see, and that shows the love. That really shows the love. So hopefully you guys will think about ordering, because Helena does this so that she can donate. I don't know if you heard her earlier, if you're just tuning in. She works in order to help donate to all children's hospitals. So it's really
So a
awesome.
percentage of everything I sell,
Yeah,
and I sell lots of things.
exactly.
A percentage of everything I sell does go back to all children's.
And we have something that we're going to be bringing out probably in July, as soon as you get them. And you're going to be and even the company is giving to all children. So
They're actually given to Ronald McDonald House, which is
same
affiliated
kind of.
with all children.
Yeah.
And they do a wonderful work, Ronald McDonald House.
Fantastic.
That's so good. So we'll talk about that next time you're on.
Yeah.
And seems like I just can't get away from products in these shows, but it's fun.
It's
It's
an
really
HSN thing.
it's really fun. It is. But we also want to have, excuse me, a purpose in addition to sharing what Helena does with Rocking the Babies and donations from products that she may offer to you, and to be able to save some money on different products and all. But if you've watched the show before, you know we're all life coaches, all certified life coaches, and we all have different personalities and deliver the message differently, but yet it's all for the same purpose. And share how long have we known you?
Oh, at least, I think around 8 years.
Has it been?
I think so, 7 or 8 years.
Oh
It has
my-
to be, because
Yeah.
the Amazing Woman Success Network is going on 6 or 7.
Oh,
so maybe it's 6 or
It
7.
might have been right in the very beginning then.
Or maybe 8.
Something like that. But anyway,
Time doesn't matter. when you're
It doesn't.
right?
Exactly.
doesn't.
It does not
No.
matter. But we met,
yeah.
I met you through Helena. And I started coming to the Amazing Women group breakfast. It was just, I mean, you talk about high energy.
Success Network.
This and the Success Network on Thursday evenings. I haven't been to as many of those,
Yeah,
right?
Well, that's the organization on Thursday and the last Mondays, but we're on vacation time. The Amazing Woman's on vacation right now.
Good
so
for
we start
you.
again in September.
Good. So, and we'll talk more about that in our shows because,
That allows Cher to do all her traveling.
That's exactly
hey, is that what
and
it was?
hanging out at the beach.
Hey, there you go. and
Relaxation.
and attend all those parties with
That's
your family, right?
That's right. Relaxation.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what I wanted Cher to talk about is really promote some of the things. When we've been talking about challenges with babies, challenges
That's
with
right.
people, right? So Cher has been a life coach for 15 years, and she has some special techniques. In fact, this one that she's going to be talking about is one that helped me, and I want to give that up front, and I'll talk about that later. But the emotional frequency technique, are you familiar with that? Have you tried anything out there, or are you at your wit's end because you don't know what to do? Do you have a family member? Do you have a friend? We all have people that are going through stuff.
Yes.
But if, you know what? That's it, stuff. And you just don't know where to turn. Tell us about your system that you have been using for how long?
Probably for 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about the emotional frequency technique.
Well, actually, Gary Craig was the originator of EFT, that's Emotional Freedom Technique. And I call it transformational tapping because what I've done is use that tapping technique, and I'll tell you in a minute what that is, and moved into some of the Empower life coaching that I do. And actually what it is that you are tapping on meridian points that are, in fact, I have a little, let's see if we could see this, good. But it's a little diagram of the meridian points that are the same ones that are used in acupuncture. And by tapping on in these areas, you are focusing on some emotional, it could be trauma, drama, the blame, shame, and guilt, some of those patterns that we have of behaviors, and some of our, let's say, our unresolved issues, trapped emotions that seem to rear its ugly head. It could be a lifetime, actually. So it gives us a chance to take a look at that and to really feel that emotion. And when we do the tapping sequences, which can be very lightly, and we're going through, a sequence in these meridian areas, while we're focusing, we're sending a different frequency. We're sending a different vibrational feeling that actually is a signal to the amygdala in the center of the brain, which is the emotional center. So when you're doing this, you're disrupting some of the, let's say, stuck emotions or the stuck energy in those systems, and you're applying a different feeling to it. So instead of the fear or the anxiety, even PTSD, people that are really having some emotional suffering issues, it's sending a different signal. And it's clearing some of those, let's say, your neurotransmitters up here that have these stuck or addictive mindsets or things that we're fearful of, or even phobias. And you're disrupting that energy, and then you're releasing it, and it leaves, because you say to yourself in one of the processes is that even though I feel this pain, even though I feel this disappointment or this deeper anguish of like betrayals and any kind of emotional distress that we're having, but even though I'm feeling this, I still love and accept myself. So it's really amazing. I had my own story of emotional healing, some from childhood wounds, which most of us have. And because when we're that young, we don't have the mindset to understand everything that we're experiencing. So some of it gets stuck into what we call limited belief system. Maybe it's our self-value system, where we feel like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, And we carry that unconsciously, and sometimes we don't even know why. And then we get in school, we don't have confidence, or someone says something to us and it hurts our feelings, or we're bullied, and we just kind of feel like we're crumbling because we don't have the understanding or the tools to work with this. So this is a holistic approach to that I incorporate in my Empower coaching to help people work through some of that emotional trauma. And it is phenomenal of the results. Sometimes it's like peeling the onion skin, and it may take a little while to have a couple sessions to go through it. But what I have found that works, and with most of my clients, is that when you first recognize what's going on, you start to have a deeper understanding, and then you go into releasing. You go into that area of work, and then you can work on renewal. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, people will try to forget things that happen. They'll
bury it.
They bury it. They say, "Oh, I'm over it," but emotionally,
when they aren't,
right, or the frequency of it is what's still stuck.
Yeah,
and it still comes back, or someone reminds you. So we really have to do this deeper process and strip that onion skin layer by layer, and come to a different understanding, and the fear will dissipate, because once you realize, if you use, there's a lot of different techniques. There's meditation, there's prayer, there's hypnotherapy, there's all different kinds of ways that we can address our emotional health. But if we're able to learn the tapping technique, which I teach people to do, so you do it yourself, then you don't feel so fearful. You have something, your mind has a place to go. You have different things to think through this situation, or to address something that's been buried for a long time.
That was very well said, because it leads people to an option for alternative methods, right?
Yeah.
And natural. I mean, I look at it like, well, we're not beating ourselves up, right? We're just tapping into those areas that, I like the way you said it, where it breaks the frequency. I know that sounds like, oh, well, that's no big deal, but it really is a big deal, because if you walk around your whole life with things being stuck, and you and I have talked about this time and time again, because I grew up always feeling not good enough. My B's weren't good enough. When I got the A's weren't good enough. When I got double promoted, even that wasn't good enough. And I'm going, really? I was only 5th grader, right? But I have to share, because I did have a personal experience, not with Cher, but the concept is the same. And when I lost my mom, I thought I dealt with it pretty well. I did. And a year and a half later was when I noticed that I couldn't swallow. The communication, right?
Right.
And my stomach was just getting bigger and bigger. I looked seriously like I was 8 months pregnant. And I was just, and then I can't even tell you where I heard about this, but I had been going to an acupuncturist, and I went to see her, and she offered to do this. Well, I had already done a little research. I thought, I wonder if maybe that'll work. So for 2.5 hours, she worked with me with a combination of this, EFT, and the acupuncture with the heat lamps. And do you know, I got up and walked out of there. It was like magic came over me, and I was healed. And she said, in this Eastern philosophy, the stomach is truly the pit of the emotions, and that's where grief goes.
Yes.
So I was collecting that, and my limited belief was, I thought I was over it. I thought I was over losing my mom.
That's
And so
Actually, you never get over, but
you don't,
Well,
but
it.
when you
Yeah.
have a physical manifestation and you can't eat, my food would get stuck right here. And so I had to do something about it. So you're really doing wonderful work with this. You have to call Cher and come in and just talk, have a conversation with her over the phone, and especially if you're locally, because you do this by appointment, right?
Yes, by appointment. Either I do the coaching, sometimes I Skype on the phone.
That's
I
awesome.
also do appointments at the Zen Zone in Oldsmar. And But each person, is so different. So I have to really listen intuitively and listen to the story and kind of pick up on where these patterns or where the stuck belief system is and what kind, let's say, level or intensity of the emotion is going on. And that's what I like about EFT, is it's safe, it's easy, and this holistic approach allows a person to go through what we call a round of the tapping, and which is right here. I'll go through it real quick. It's so easy, like this. And you go through the round of tapping, and you send this vibration through, and it can actually break through some of these feelings that we have, and it changes the intensity. So like I said, sometimes it takes a couple of rounds, and you're going, let's say that from a 1 to 10, you're saying, boy, this is really a frustration for me, or this situation I have, or something I've been stuck with, or something that I experienced either in a relationship or an accident, PTSD, just basic stress is one of the main things. Mm-hmm. We all have a way that we deal with stress, but if you don't have some coping mechanisms or something that you do to release that stress, it stays bottled up. And some people try to push it down and ignore it so they can go on with their regular daily routine.
And they stuff it, and it is stuffed.
And then it can turn into a real dis-ease in the system.
Because thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Because then it can manifest into cardiovascular, even, just mental overloads that people have. And when you have a little routine that you can do that can release some of the stress, or you start recognizing when you have what I call stress rising, mm-hmm. and you realize that it does come from here in the solar plexus, and then it raises up, and then you feel maybe heart palpitation, or you get the closed throat, mm-hmm. and you just start to work, then you have a headache, or something says it blew my mind. You actually can feel stress rising in the system.
Absolutely, you can. You absolutely can.
So when you have something, like with anger issues, some people will say, well, count to 10. But what's bringing on the short fuse? Why would one be angry? Where did it originate from? And then you can tap through and bring those intensities down so you're just not so disturbed by it. I mean, it's amazing what it can do to actually work with this tapping technique.
It really is amazing. And I love when you use the word because it's so appropriate for you and your amazing women and your group and all. When you talk about that anxiety and how someone starts tapping mm-hmm. and they feel that anxiety, do you think it's because they are there and have to focus on what's bothering them, basically?
Well, they're trying to look for the solution.
Exactly.
And see, that's the problem. If you don't have a solution, I think this also, I have a lot of, let's say, new thought processes for people who feel they're at the end of their rope. And the way I explain that is it's like a half a deck of cards, and you keep reshuffling what you know, what you've experienced, like a half a deck. And so you feel like, well, I don't know what to do. I've tried this, I've tried that. And I think even with suicide, I said people get to the point where I've tried everything, I don't know what else to do, and they think the worst. And the truth, and that's a lie, because even with depression, the truth is that you need more cards in the deck. Mm-hmm. You need more solutions. You need more techniques, or more of a holistic approach for the body, mind, spirit, so you can balance this in your life or find positive solutions. Another part to releasing and maybe even eliminating the limiting beliefs, some of the stress, pain, struggles that you have, and releasing the intensities is to replace it with something very positive. Yep. So I studied actually through Louise Hay and do affirmational work. So the second part of my sessions are to recognize, release, and renew with affirmational work and phrases that kind of restore your self-talk. Mm-hmm. So you realize that there's hope and there's a different way of thinking. So if you think I'm not worth it, you start saying I am worth it. You just mm-hmm. simply flip the negativity to a positive, and you're bringing more positive energy into your neurotransmitters, actually, and you start rehearsing that mental rehearsal, and you bring about a new belief about yourself. You know, it's like, I can't do this. Sure, I can do it. You know, I am worthy. You know, I am gratitude. And you start looking at things that you're grateful for, things that you have in your life, instead of focusing on what you don't have and what's wrong. So between the tapping and some affirmational work to learn how to self-empower and know the difference between when I'm disempowered and when I'm empowered person, you can change your whole life.
Absolutely.
I mean, literally, not just
can.
how you feel, but you get on a complete different pathway to, you know, build your platform so you have your strength, your hope, your clarity.
Yeah.
And it works.
It does work. And I'm picking up so many things that you're saying that just makes so much sense. And then I'm thinking about the person that has this disbelief that I'm not good enough. Have you ever felt like that? Were you raised in the same era?
Never.
So how
I
do
grew
the...
up. That was spoon-fed that every day.
Yes, me
That's
too.
it.
So how does the person who really believes that, they believe that
Yeah.
they are not good enough, no matter what we do, right? I'm just throwing this out there in generalities. So it's a matter of replacing this habit with
Yes.
a better habit of healing it.
Exactly.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, we have to know first that it's possible. See, I
Yes.
think
Yes.
people give up hope because they don't know what's possible.
That's it.
They don't know their options. They haven't put as much energy or time and effort into that direction of their life. They've spent a lot of time on the blame, shame, guilt, you know,
Yeah.
trauma, drama. And that's what's filling their cellular self and their cellular memory. And they keep
Yes.
believing that. So, like you said, to create a new habit, you have to practice. So that's actually the fourth component is actually your practice. You know, how do you restore yourself? You know, you have to create the new habit by practicing something new thought process, or maybe it's something new in your routine. You know, maybe you need to go to the beach more or go to your happy place and, you know, give yourself new experience. You know, or help
Yeah.
someone else. I was
Yeah.
going to say one of the
Yeah.
greatest things
Yeah.
that you're doing, Helena, is, you know, doing purposeful work that's helping someone else. I mean, that can restore your self-worth, you know, and
And as far as depression goes, not that I really have ever had that, but I always say, if anyone's depressed, I talk to my clients and they go, well, I'm bored, I'm depressed. I'm like, then get out and help somebody else.
absolutely.
You know, and I don't care who it is, go, you know, read stories to children in foster care, go to the go to the senior citizens places. I mean, you know, there's so many people who need just a little bit of TLC,
It's
right?
very rewarding.
And
Yeah.
we're all lucky. We still have our husbands and, you know, we still have that life. But there are
Yeah.
a lot of people that are just lonely. And just reach out and help one of those
Absolutely.
people.
Exactly.
I was going to mention, too, I had spent nearly 4 years at Addiction Treatment Center at Morton Plant Hospital with my coaching program. And, you know, there were a lot of people that are in there for different reasons of addiction, because people do turn to substance abuse for self-medication, you know, when they
Self-medication,
don't know
right.
what else to do.
Sure.
But even though in the medical community, it's important for people to get leveled and balanced and get centered, and they need some medical supervision sometimes and proper medication. But even with that, people still need to add to that and self-empower. And I think that's where people don't realize how important it is
Yeah.
to have some other practice that
Yes.
they need
Yes.
for self-disciplines, creating new habits. Otherwise, they feel like they go down the rabbit hole and they're never going to
lost.
come back, and they get
That's
lost.
right.
So it really is about self-empowering, to have, you know, to have a renew you.
Well, and very well said. And the thing is, it does give you that with the knowledge, because so many people, especially today, they're out meeting themselves, coming and going. Some people, some families, they're working 1, 2, 3 jobs, and their kids are suffering from it. They're suffering from the whole thing. They don't even have. Would you say that most people today don't have the time to even think, what can I do to help myself?
Absolutely. I mean, they don't teach you this in school.
No.
I think they need to teach children, how to calm themselves. We talked about the
And
calming
there are-
chart.
In Pasco
Yes.
County, where they're
Exactly.
teaching meditation. Finally,
They
thank
need
you.
that. Kids,
Yes.
kids need to be self-empowered.
Yes,
They need
yes.
to learn how to have self-control. I mean, believe it or not, the kids do not enjoy having tantrums on the floor.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
if they knew that there was another way, and not just punishment and this type of thing for discipline or correcting, but let's say redirecting their energy.
Thank
and,
you.
how to work through this.
Yes.
And, then the child develops a self-confidence
Esteem, too.
or self-esteem at an early age.
I know. Believe me,
But-
I know exactly what you're
But
talking
before we
about.
get there, we have to do. It has to become self-awareness, and I think that's
Absolutely.
what Barb was saying, and,
Yes.
and the fact that, we're all in a seasoned place, and I just wanted to share with you that, we all got here different ways by using different holistic techniques and different this, that, you name it. But one of the things that I think is powerful is just those statements of I am.
Absolutely.
And I had them written out, typed out, and when I was brushing my teeth, I would read, I am powerful, I am beautiful, I am strong, I'm confident. And, I talk to myself every day like that. I didn't just wake up one morning and say, oh, well, I've got the world by the tail. No, and
No, it doesn't
and
happen
I
that
think
way.
That this
To work
is something,
on it.
everything is a process. It's not,
Right.
the EFT is going to help, but one time isn't going to fix all your problems. I mean, tell me if that's not true. I've only worked with it a little bit compared to what you
Well,
have.
you definitely have results.
It did for me one time.
And
It did
I,
for
You
me.
didn't do another time? You only
I
did
did
the
not.
one?
Nope.
Yeah.
I was done one time because I had focused
do we have
on it.
time to do a little thing here?
Absolutely.
All
We'll
right.
take the time.
So we're just going to I'm going to demonstrate just a really, really quick exercise that's part of this. But if you're ever stressed out or even just something is overwhelming in any kind of emotion, or you just feel like you need to be centered, try tapping right here. So one of the points is under the collarbone where the soft spot is. And sometimes, and you really hit this, you really go in here with your fingertips. And just for just a minute, just relax and take a soft, whispery breath. So just close your eyes. Just take a soft, whispery breath. And just breathe out very gently, and just as if you're letting all the cares of the day just go. And while you continue tapping, now I want you to stop tapping and gently bring your hands down. Rest them on your thighs. And just feel the vibration. Feel the warmth. So how do you all feel?
Good.
Do you feel a change in the warmth and the vibration? Helena?
Well, of course, because we don't take enough time
Helena's
to do that.
going to
She's
sleep
gonna
over here.
fall
No,
asleep.
but it's,
Can you tell?
I've had a stressful week, and I think that this is really,
Yeah.
Now that is-
exactly what
Yeah.
I need.
That is, if you have nothing else and you don't learn anything else, you learn to finger tap right here at this point, okay? And that can bring you, and you have to just bring yourself down to a slow, whispery breath. That's one of the secrets too. Not just, with the inhale and exhale, but it brings your whole system down. And it really does have an effect. So because I work also intuitively, so I'm working and zeroing in on whatever that person's
And that helps.
issue is, and also going back, not like therapy, but going back to the past to see where they might have anchored that problem. And we want to put in a new anchor. We want to get rid of it and breathe it out, and then bring in a new anchor. Have them understand it from a different point of view of where you are today in your wisdom practice. Because if it's something from 3 years old, I had self-doubt and uncertainty because my parents got divorced.
Wow.
And that started with a lot of confusion in my young life. And being raised by my grandmother, I still had both my parents that I saw and had relationships with. But just because of that experience, it caused this little trigger in me that followed me till I was half a century years old.
See, and
When I started doing the coaching and the
Yeah.
tapping, I was able to remove all of it. And I realized I am who I am, and I have to celebrate that and understand that nobody was to blame for this. It was how I internalized that experience.
That's right. And a lot of
So-
times children have a tendency to feel like they were to blame for
Exactly. So
that situation.
You can't possibly come to an understanding
Yeah.
with your mindset of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7. You know, that's the age of reason when you start to understand a little bit more. But that's where we get these trapped emotions and things like that. So, you know, I would answer any questions or, you know, contact me on my Facebook page. I think I have a flyer.
Oh, yes. John, do you have that flyer, the PDF that I sent you?
And there's many practitioners that do good work like this too. So it's wherever you get some other kind of guidance or inspiration, and you know, anybody. I mean, all of us here, just having a loving voice that will listen to someone can you know, really help to renew and restore someone that's in a difficult, you know, place in their life.
When I think about starting my personal growth and development many years ago, when I was going through all this crazy stuff,
Yes.
I was about 19. And when you're talking about replacing with different words and affirmations, and this book is still in print, this is one of my major secrets. Did you ever hear of What You Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter? Write that down.
Yes.
You want to change your life? It ties right in with this, is replacing
Yes.
the bad anchors
right.
that we develop because we don't know any better. And
Lucky you were to find that at 19.
I
was
know.
like twice,
That's when
almost twice that age before I started that.
Well, you know what?
found those
I
things.
didn't. I was very intuitive at even 19, and I'm going, something doesn't feel right here. I'm not really this. I'm not really that. And I became a teenage. I was a teenage rebel. Oh, imagine that. So
I think we all went through that phase.
because you know what? It was a release. I went out. I went dancing every weekend. That was my release back then. And slowly, and that's when I started deep in prayer at that time, and just said, you know, God, just show me a different way
Yes.
at that time. And then I got mad at God because nothing was coming. Here, shares flyers up. Talk about this real quick. Release trapped emotions.
Unresolved issues, anxiety. This is just finding your calm in, you know, the EFT for stress and anxiety. So it is a way to, just like I said, have an effect on the intensity of stuck feelings or something that you're going through. And sometimes the process does take more than just one time, of course.
Yes, I
You
would
know,
think so.
I mean, I have some clients that I've worked with for weeks, some for months, and they get very good results. And, you know, maybe they go through different parts of their life because we have not maybe just one thing. But yes, you can just, you know, call me or leave a message or a text. And I do offer a free phone consultation. So if you want to set up your personal healing session or you just want to hear more about how I can help you, or, you know, tell me what your story is, and then we can find the best course of action. If it's not me, then I can direct you, you know, maybe to the right kind of help that you can get.
Perfect. I love it. This resonated with me, and it brings you to a stop. It brings you to a stop to address it. And we have a lot in common, all three of us here, which we're going to transition last segment on some of the things that my husband and I have been doing. And we're kind of like, we're on the prevention side, but yet it can still be used on the healing side. And with my husband's program, the Tri-Neurogenics, using the mind, body, spirit. The mind is the map, the body as the vehicle, and the spirit as the fuel. I know we only have 7 minutes, but I'm going to do this HSN style. And you can always contact me if you want any more information. But over time, over the years, we've realized, we've prayed, and the answers have come. Tink, you've heard me at 7 o'clock in the morning calling you, got another message. And this has happened over time. It didn't happen overnight. And it happened to us actually following this program of Tri-Neurogenics. And we don't fly under Our business name, which is Defy Aging, Inc., we fly under Dennis Kelly and Barbara Marville-Kelly. And this coaching program is basically what turned me around when I was working the overnights and I had to get back to the gym and really getting back to basics, the 6 steps to the Fountain of Youth, which is that whole program. And part of that program can either be in healing, but we're trying to attack this from the prevention side. If we were talking about stress. If we can stop stress in its tracks, it will help prevent you from going into the dis-ease. It's been proven. And in our program, we only use what is documented, backed by science, backed by medical research, because the human body is a miracle. We're a miracle. Listen to what you're
Absolutely.
talking about, the tapping. And you know, some people may think we're talking woo-woo, but no, we are energy. We are all energy. And there's more people, especially baby boomers, that are looking into this, even more so now, because we've already taken care of our parents. We don't want our children standing at the hospital bed, at the edge of the bed, looking at us as we pass away or we're dealing with something. And you know, in our shows on primetime, when we talk about ageless living, my husband always talks about, you know, we do need some stress. And we do. It's the balance of your ego drive and your empathy balance, bringing that together so that when you have that, you know that place to go. What Cher's really doing is, with this tapping, is that's immediate. Our exercises as well is immediate because we're changing the frequency just by living a heart-empowered life. Once you start doing that, oh my goodness, okay? Oh my goodness. It will change your life forever. And there's so many different components to different coaching techniques and mentoring techniques that you can do. That's how we have become successful in any of the areas. And I have to tell you, I'm going to close this show with something that I know you guys are going to gasp. What happened to me yesterday? I didn't listen to my heart. Okay, only it was one of those things. I was returning paint to the store, and I pounded the paint can lid. I thought,
Oh, no.
I did good.
Oh, no.
I sat 2 on the floor, 1 on the seat. You guessed it. The paint opened up, a full gallon all over the back seat of my husband's car.
Oh, no.
Now, what would Joe say if he heard about that?
He would still be on fire.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay. So,
I know.
So I'm
I
going,
know.
and this is how I gasped. I did because I didn't know, and so I go,
A whole gallon.
not a problem. This is how I handled it. I swear to God, not a problem. I didn't even do any deep breathing for this one. I didn't have to. I just go, it's water soluble. It's easy cleanup, right? I'm going to my features and benefits of this paint, and I had some Tai Chi shirts in there on the back seat of the car, so I swooped those over and picked some of it up. Then I ran into Walmart. And I got the look at her, she's freaking out. I got the paper towels and a bottle of water. I cleaned it all up. So as luck would have
What
it,
color was it?
it was the color under my nails. Kind of like a coca mocha beige.
Oh, my God.
And I thought, I got to tell this story because when times like this happen, okay, when you are in a skill set that you've mastered, then you know you have really arrived. So the best part was, so I
believe
I
it.
got 3 minutes. So I'm going home, right? I'm thinking, oh gosh, I don't want to upset Kelly, but you'll never guess what he said when I told him what happened. He goes, well, did you clean it up all right? Just like that, in that tone of voice. And you know that's him, right? But the blessing was this. So I get home, he's on the phone. While I'm out in the car cleaning up the paint, he's on the phone with AOL. He didn't care anything else what was going on. So I think God just stepped right in there and took care of him while I'm out scrubbing the car. And I'm going, thank you, Jesus. A crazy story. But honestly, our ministry mission is about to take off in a direction. We call it our ministry, we call it our mission, because we really want to do collectively with all of us, share messages with you, whether you're doing the tapping with Cher, whether you're doing the 1-minute stress management with us and going to the heart. And we've done that on our primetime show with my husband, Dennis Kelly, because that's how we've been living for the last 20 years. He's been doing this way before me. And our company, Defy Aging, is a certification board. We have a number of different things that we can help you with, including the Tai Chi and Qigong. If that's not for you, if you want to be able to stop stress in its tracks, we can show you within 1 minute, and we can prove that it will do that for you. And if you do that every time that you're stressed out, or if you spill paint in the back of your car, you'll go to your heart and it will be okay, I promise. Get a hold of any one of us for any tips and things that you may need help with. Everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs something to help them live an optimal, healthy, happy, and joyous life. And that's my story for now. I will see you next Monday. But I know we have 1 minute, but I just want to tell you real quickly. Next Monday, we couldn't be here because we had some technical whatever here, but we're doing book reviews. We're doing a lot of research, and we have discovered a brand new book with a ton of research that we want to talk to you about on Monday. If you have heart disease, we're not making any claims or cures or anything like that, but things that we can do for ourselves naturally, and it's all documented by an MD, and this MD's program is actually covered by Medicare. So tune in Monday. Live at 5, we'll be with Dennis Kelly. They call him Doc around here. I think I know why after living with him for so many
But
years.
you will be here, or you won't be here on
We
Monday?
will. We will be. We weren't here the last time when we were supposed to talk about it. But he'll have more research. I mean, my husband sits there like this and just absorbs, and then he just reports.
That's great.
So we have just 20 seconds. I want to thank you, my dear. I absolutely love hearing that.
Thank you.
And I'm going to start doing that again. Thank you, my love. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.